Does Prince Harry have to pay the Daily Mail £34.5 million? Is that why they're moving back to the UK? No. Let's talk about what happened today and how it is being reported on. If you're new here, I am Meredith Constant. I am a writer and a royal commentator. About a month ago, Prince Harry and other claimants learned that the judge ruled in A&L's favor in the claims that they brought against the publisher of allegations of phone hacking and unlawful information gathering practices. Today, we learned a little bit more about what the final bill might be. We knew this was coming today before Harry and Meghan's news that they were moving back to the UK with their children, so this was not some conspiracy to pile on Harry. Fresh blow for Prince Harry as heavy Daily Mail legal costs confirmed. Subhead lets you know that it's not just Harry. Man, he is there for the headline. And the costs have not been confirmed. What was confirmed is the parameters for determining the costs. In a written statement, the justice said that Prince Harry and 6 other claimants have to pay an initial payment of £9.5 million, which is roughly $13 million, to the Mail. And that payment is due next week. Justice noted that the legal costs claimed by A&L of £34.5 million was extraordinary for this kind of case. Doesn't mean that they are getting that much money. Something that could be seen as a potential blow is that these costs will be assessed on an indemnity basis, not a standard basis. Basically, this means that A&L does not have to be reasonable about their costs. They can go beyond £34.5 million. So there's no cap. While this is not the final bill, my understanding is there's kind of a court mediator that is going to go through the bills, line items, and see if they can reach a settlement between the two parties. I believe there can also be an appeal, but again, not a lawyer. Just here to tell you that headlines like these are misleading. Also, not for nothing, someone who did win a case against the Mail on Sunday is Meghan. That was when the Mail on Sunday published a private letter that she wrote to her father. And it was found that not only did the Mail invade her privacy, but it was also copyright infringement. This goes back to a larger conversation about the media and how it acts, especially as people are looking at Jason Arday and what happened to him and if any of this was legal. And I don't know. What I do know is that just because you are not found liable in court for unlawful information gathering practices does not mean that there is not a larger ethical problem with some of the reporting standards and practices that we see not just from the tabloids, but also from the serious papers. There's a lot more about this case, including the Gavin Burrows of it all. I'm hoping to write about that, time permitting. Stay tuned for more.
Breaking news that is just coming out right now from the royal household, okay? Because the UK justice system is being weaponized by the royal family and the Daily Mail and other news agencies in the UK against Prince Harry. Yes, the news coming out now is that Prince Harry and his 6 associates must apparently now pay the Daily Mail, the ANC, and other news agencies that they sued for expeditious illegal fishing of their data, 18.6 million before the 28th of August. Yes, you heard that right. So they have literally 2 weeks to box out 18.6 million, and apparently that is not even where it ends. The price is meant to go up to 34.6 million pounds because the Daily Mail and the ANC, the Associate News Organization in the UK, said that due to the illegal charges that the Prince Harry and other millionaires brought towards them, forced them to hire one of the most expensive lawyers, who then in turn forced them to spend a lot of money. As a result of it, they want all their money and the damages paid back with interest. So the judge now is saying that he has given them the order to go calculate how much they think it cost them for the lawfare. And apparently the ANC, the news organization, have announced that it actually cost them 34.6 million pounds in total. So by the end of all this, yeah, Prince Harry, when they share the bill, is probably going to end up paying about 8 million pounds back. So now a lot of people online, a lot of the Prince Harry haters are now saying, oh, it makes perfect sense that now this is the reason why Prince Harry came back to UK, because it cost them, he's broke as a result of this, so he wants the royal family to help him out with all these legal money issues that is experiencing, and that is why he's coming back to the UK. But Prince Harry is a multi-millionaire. He owns mansions in different countries. Like, bro even own a mansion in South Africa. So the guy is a multi-millionaire. I think 8 point something million when they split it among 6 other billionaires. It's like asking me to pay £500 for chips and chips. It ain't gonna scratch me in the surface. But let me know what you guys think. I think this is a targeted campaign by the royal family, the UK justice system, which doesn't, by the way, have a codified law. Any country that doesn't have a codified law written down in the paper is meant to have a miscarriage of justice all the time. Okay, because there's nothing you can reference to and the judge have to say, okay, this is the law. The UK law is not written, it's not codified, so it's on vibes. But let me know what you guys think about this.
So the British media and the D-Rangers are crowing about this. They've been waiting to hear how much Prince Harry would have to pay. $50 million, blah, 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 for obviously having the courage, the balls to sue Daily Mail for their wrongdoing. And now they've been told they have to pay £9.9 million. But what they're not reporting, the payment has been fully secured and Prince Harry would not have to pay out of pocket. Definitely not what D-Rangers want to hear. The payment is fully insured, so the claimants don't have to pay. But bear in mind, this isn't the total legal cost. They're saying it could be higher than £34 million, but this is an interim payment that the court has asked for. Prince Harry and the other claimants are covered by insurance. So insurance is going to literally cover most of the cost, what they have to pay. So at the end of the day, Prince Harry may not have to pay more than £3 million if he even has to put his hands in his pockets to make any payments. Definitely not what the D-Rangers would like to hear. And in any case, Prince Harry knew the risks, right? When you take actions like that, you know you could either lose or win. And if you lose, you know you're going to definitely pay something. And he'd be ready for all of that. So all of this crowing and saying, oh, he's going to be so broke, he has to pay $50 million, blah, 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 and making the D-Rangers cream themselves, is all BS. Again, it's all fed by... It's all BS. The media is making these people happy, thinking Prince Harry is about to go broke for having courage, for being brave. And he's not. He is not at all. And they're saying, oh, that's why he's come back to the UK, so he can have his father pay. The delusions that I've seen it's just epic, but it's nothing new. The Rangers are known to be that way. Nothing new, really.
Harry and Meghan returning to the UK, and they've just been hit with like a 20 million.
The one thing I particularly despise about the internet nowadays is everybody is too busy outrage chasing, clout chasing, right, to maintain their integrity. It's why a lot of people that maybe initially I kind of took seriously, over time, when I see you using certain terms and pushing certain narratives, I ignore you. The instant I start ignoring some of your videos, just know that you are talking some bullshit, and I know that you are talking some bullshit and you're only looking for it. Because why is this man is clearly old. He's an older man, right? And yes, maybe he's enjoying his little internet notoriety and he wants to make his fans happy. So he's sticking to bashing people or pretending to be obtuse for engagement. But it is still very... Because what do you mean that you think Harry and the claimants with the Daily Mail judgment are literally going to hand over £10 million approximately? Can we please be serious? Major cases of this size and this profile usually most likely will have insurance. Yeah, insurance companies literally make a lot of money protecting against judgments from these types of cases. It could fall either way. A judgment has been issued. Harry, from what we've been made to understand, and other claimants have taking out mutual insurance that up to a certain amount, which is well within the limits of this judgment. Yes, right? Now, are they going to have to pay some premiums? Of course, right? They will have to pay some premiums. But again, that is the point of an insurance. So when people coming up here saying, oh, Harry is coming back to the UK because him and Meghan have a legal bill. Can we please be serious? And I know you guys like to sensationalize. Even if there was somehow a way Harry was going to pay the full 9 million, right? How many claimants were on this case? 5, 6 people? You think they wouldn't contribute? At best, and I mean at best, Harry is parting away with what, £1 million, 1.2, mind you, or 1.5 even. Mind you, Harry gave one of his charities in the UK £1.5 million cash. This is just an intimidation tactic and a way to spread misinformation. And you, old man that owns this TikTok, you know better.
Squaddies, let's stop right there, because I've been seeing these headlines basically screaming, Harry is going broke. Okay, show me the evidence. That's the bit I'm looking for, because apparently, overnight, half of Fleet Street has become Harry's personal accountant. You've got people online throwing around huge legal figures and immediately jump into, that's it, he's finished, he's going bankrupt. Hold on, a big legal bill is a big legal bill. Nobody is denying that legal battles can cost serious money, but having a massive expense is not automatically the same thing as being financially ruined. Those are two completely different statements. If somebody tells you Harry has incurred X pounds in legal costs, that's one thing. If they tell you Harry is about to lose everything, that's a completely different claim. So where do they get that information? Have they seen his bank accounts? Have they reviewed his investments? Do they know his contracts? Do they know his assets? Do they know what financial arrangements are in place? Probably not. And that's why regular people need to be careful with these dramatic headlines. Because once you put a giant number in front of somebody, the brain immediately goes, wow, that's a lot of money. And then suddenly, the headline has done its job. Nobody asks what the number actually means. Nobody asks what the full financial picture looks like. They just see millions in massive letters and assume Harry is sleeping on the sofa counting his last £5. Come on. And let's be clear, Harry can absolutely face substantial legal expenses. That's part of taking on major legal battles. But we shouldn't turn an expense into a bankruptcy announcement without evidence. That's not analysis. That's speculation wearing a very expensive suit. So whenever you see the next headline screaming that Harry is financially finished, don't panic, don't celebrate. Just ask one very boring but very important question. Where's the proof? Because a dramatic headline isn't a bank statement, and being hit with a serious bill doesn't automatically mean you've lost everything. Sometimes the simplest question is the one the loudest commentators don't want you asking. Now this is where the whole conversation gets a bit weird, because Harry takes on powerful media organizations through the courts, and instead of focusing on what the cases are actually about, some people seem more interested in watching his legal bills pile up. It's almost like they're sitting there with popcorn going, come on Harry, lose another one. Seriously, that's not a discussion about justice. That's somebody enjoying the idea of another person taking a financial hit. And let's be fair, you don't have to agree with every legal decision Harry has made. You can question whether a particular case was worth the time, money or stress. That's perfectly reasonable. But there's a massive difference between saying, I disagree with Harry's legal strategy, and celebrating the possibility that he's being financially crushed. Because Harry didn't just wake up one morning and decide, you know what, I fancy spending years in court. He has been challenging media organizations over issues involving privacy and press conduct. Whatever your opinion of him, those are serious issues. And when someone takes on a powerful institution, the conversation should be about the substance of the dispute, not turning their legal expenses into some kind of celebrity scoreboard. Harry's legal bill is not a trophy. Nobody gets a medal because another person spent money defending themselves. And that's why I think the public should be careful about this whole Harry has finally been defeated narrative. Defeated by what? A legal expense? A court ruling? A headline? Those things are not automatically the same thing. The man can win some cases, lose some cases, pay substantial costs, and still believe the fight was worth having. That's how real life works. And honestly, squaddies, if someone is cheering because they think Harry might be financially hurting, I think that tells us more about their feelings towards Harry than it tells us about Harry's actual financial situation. Because this shouldn't be a victory parade. It's a legal dispute. Let the courts deal with the law, let Harry deal with his decisions, and let's stop treating another family's financial pressure like entertainment. Squaddies, let's talk about this endless Harry is finished storyline. Because at this point, it feels like the tabloids have renewed the subscription themselves. Every few months, here comes another prediction. Harry's career is supposedly collapsing. Harry is supposedly running out of money. Harry's legal battles are supposedly destroying him. And now we're getting the latest episode. Harry is going broke. Seriously, how many times can one man supposedly be finished before people start saying, wait a minute, haven't you heard this before? Because here's what I think gets completely missed. Harry isn't sitting around trying to prove himself to the tabloids. He challenged them. He took powerful media organizations to court and fought to hold them accountable over allegations involving unlawful information gathering and privacy violations. That's not the behavior of somebody running away from the fight. That's somebody saying, no, you're not going to do this to me forever. And whether people agree with every legal decision Harry has made or not, you've got to respect the courage it takes to take on institutions with enormous resources and influence. That's why I don't buy this constant Harry is finished narrative. If anything, Harry has already done something his critics never expected. He stood up to the machine. And let's be honest, squaddies, how many people would willingly walk into a courtroom knowing they're taking on some of the biggest media organizations in Britain? Not many, but Harry did. So when I see people celebrating the possibility that he might be struggling financially because of these legal battles, I have to ask, is this really about his finances, or are they celebrating because they wanted Harry to lose? Because there's a difference. Harry doesn't need to be perfect. He doesn't need to win every case. He doesn't need every critic to suddenly become a fan. But he deserves credit for refusing to simply sit there and take it. And that's why I say this. Harry is not finished. In fact, the man has shown serious backbone. He challenged the tabloids, he forced uncomfortable conversations about press accountability, and he refused to let people tell him that speaking up was pointless. So the next time somebody screams Harry is finished, maybe don't rush to celebrate. Remember what this man has already done. Because while some people are busy predicting his downfall, Harry has been busy holding the tabloids accountable. And that, squaddings, is a much more interesting story. And this is where I want us to step back from all the noise for a minute. Because Harry's money isn't entertainment. Meghan's money isn't entertainment. And their family certainly shouldn't become some kind of royal financial reality show. Think about it. Imagine you had a legal bill land on your doorstep, and instead of people asking whether you were okay, strangers were online celebrating. Yes, he's losing money. Yes, maybe he's finally broke. What? Wouldn't you look at that and think, mate, are you alright? That's somebody's real life, and Harry and Meghan are real people. You can disagree with Harry's lawsuits. You can think he spent too much money. You can believe he should have handled certain things differently. Fine. That's called having an opinion. But there's a completely different energy when people start cheering for financial destruction. That's not criticism anymore. That's personal. And let's not forget there are children involved. Archie and Lilibet didn't choose the headlines. They didn't choose the arguments. They didn't ask for strangers to sit online discussing whether their parents are supposedly running out of money. So before we share the next dramatic headline screaming Harry is broke, just stop for 2 seconds. Ask yourself, do we actually know that? Or did somebody take a reported figure, add a scary headline, throw in some royal drama, and serve it up for clicks? Because those are two very different things. And this isn't just about Harry and Meghan, it's about all of us as consumers of news. If we keep clicking every outrageous headline without asking questions, the media will keep producing more outrageous headlines. It's simple supply and demand. So let's use some common sense. Don't turn another family's financial situation into a spectator sport, because behind every headline is a real person. And sometimes the most sensible response isn't "I told you so." It's simply, hang on, what do we actually know?